In 2014, humanity destroyed the planet's atmosphere and triggered global warming. To solve this problem, scientists created an artificial cooling substance that disperses into the air to reduce heat, but it also plunged the world into a new ice age. Fortunately, a genius named Wilford built a train powered by a perpetual engine that will circle the globe without stopping. The few humans left now live on the train, and anyone who dares to leave immediately freezes to death. 17 years later, the guards distribute food to the rearmost cars, unpalatable protein blocks, and everyone must sit to receive them. Curtis refuses to sit until a guard threatens to shoot him. Curtis explains to his friend Edgar that he has been counting the doors because he plans to sneak to the front of the train. The guard then asks if there are any experienced violinists among them. An elderly couple volunteers, claiming they used to play in the Boston Symphony Orchestra. The guard tries to take Gerald, but Gerald refuses to go without his wife. Enraged, the guard punches the woman, breaking her hand, and drags Gerald away. Curtis visits Tanya and her son Timmy to ask the boy to swap protein blocks. When Curtis cuts open his new block, he discovers a small capsule with a message inside. They bring the message to Gilliam, an elderly man with only one arm who sits beside a Wilford logo on the wall. The message reads Nam, the name of a security expert in the train's prison section. Curtis wants to find him to aid the revolution, so Gilliam helps plan their options. Later, while everyone sleeps, guards led by Wilford's assistant, Clude, arrive to measure all the children with a tape measure. Suddenly, Clude lifts Tanya's skirt to find Timmy hiding there. Timmy tries to run, and his mother screams. But the guards capture Timmy and beat Tanya into silence. After measuring a bit more, Clude takes Andy, Andrew's son. A devastated Andrew throws his shoe at Clude, so the guards immediately seize Andrew. Moments later, young Franco and old Franco put a measuring clock around Andrew's neck and force his arm through a hole in the wall, where the temperature is below zero, causing him to scream in agony. Then, Minister Mason arrives, delivers a long lecture scolding the passengers for their misbehavior, places Andrew's shoe on his head, and insists that order be maintained. The Francos remove Andrew's frozen arm and crush it with a giant hammer to complete the punishment. In the days that follow, the poor begin working furiously to build tools that will help the revolution. Curtis also acquires some chronol, small blocks of industrial waste that addicts use to get high, but which are highly flammable. He can't stop thinking about Mason's remark that the guards' weapons are useless, theorizing that they ran out of bullets during the last uprising. As everyone works, the group's artist sketches their important moments and gifts Andrew and Tanya portraits of their children. One day, an alarm sounds, and everyone rushes to line up for the guards. Their device is ready. To create a diversion, they shout protests about the protein blocks. A guard grabs an elderly man and threatens to shoot him. So Curtis runs forward, pressing the guard's gun to his own head. When the guard pulls the trigger, nothing happens. Edgar shouts that the weapons are unloaded, and chaos erupts. The device turns out to be a giant wheeled tube train that the rebels begin pushing through the cars, with Curtis riding atop it. A violent fight breaks out between guards and rebels, but without bullets, the rebels easily overpower the guards. Suddenly, a huge guard tries to block them, but Gray leaps onto him and quickly kills him, stealing his keys in the process. The rebels reach the prison car where the cells are compartments in the walls. Using the stolen keys, they free Nam, who appears dazed because he is addicted. After grabbing a translation device from the wall, Curtis explains that they need his help to get through the next cars and can pay him in chronol. Nam smokes a cigarette, which surprises everyone, since cigarettes haven't been available for over 10 years. Little Chon seizes the chance to steal Nam's matches. After some deliberation, Nam throws away the cigarette, and everyone fights over it. Nam even joins in, until Curtis pulls him aside. Nam admits he took the keys, then opens another compartment to reveal his daughter Jonah, also addicted. He agrees to help if both he and Jonah receive chronol for each door they open. Curtis agrees, and Nam begins working on the door's wiring. When Jonah announces that the next compartment is empty, Nam opens the door, and the group is shocked to see sunlight again. After almost 2 decades, the outside world is covered in snow, and all the cities are frozen. Nam starts on the next door, and Jonah cries, "It's running!" just before it opens. The group is stunned to see Paul, a former group member, jumping around like a maniac. They realize they are in the car where the protein blocks are made. Paul was forced to make them, which drove him insane. Horrified, Curtis peers into a machine and discovers that the protein blocks are made from cockroaches. Curtis finds another capsule on the floor and shows it to Paul, but Paul only knows that someone sends them in the food. Gilliam opens the capsule and reads water. Paul tells them that the water supply is a few cars away, so whoever controls the water controls the negotiations. While Nam works on the next door, Curtis talks with Jonah and learns she was born on the train. Curtis is from the outside but remembers nothing before boarding. He also wonders if Jonah is clairvoyant since she seemed to sense the door. Jonah warns him not to open it, but it's too late. The door swings open and reveals a room full of masked axe-wielding men. They raise a fish and gut it as a threat. Unfazed, the rebels charge, triggering a chaotic slaughter. Both sides quickly lose people while blood splatters everywhere. Edgar and Curtis fight on, killing many masked men, but Curtis slips on the fish. A man tries to kill him, but Edgar leaps in and kills the attacker just in time. Ahead of them, more masked men and guards await. The guards announce they are about to cross a bridge, then begin a countdown. When the train hits the bridge, ice banks formed since last year cause it to shudder violently, throwing everyone to the ground, except Jonah and Nam, who watch from a window to check the cliffs below. Finally, a guard announces they've crossed safely and everyone stands to resume fighting, only to be interrupted by Mason and the Francos entering the car. Mason scolds the rebels for ingratitude toward Wilford's refuge and food, then informs them that 74% of the poor will be killed. Enraged, Curtis hurls an axe at her, but she blocks it. Mason lifts a pair of binoculars and her men don special masks so they can see in the long tunnel ahead. The train enters that tunnel, dark inside, but the guards still see thanks to their masks, and the rebels are quickly slaughtered. Mason watches the massacre as though it were theater. Remembering something, Curtis yells at Chan to light a fire. Chan uses Nam's stolen matches to ignite a torch. Soon, Curtis and several rebels carry torches into the dark car. With fire, they regain the advantage. Gray grabs an officer and threatens to kill him unless the enemy surrenders. Mason doesn't care about a low-rank man, so Gray kills him and continues fighting, throwing a knife that wounds Mason's leg. Curtis sees an opening and charges, but young Franco has seized Edgar for a moment. Curtis hesitates, but ultimately chooses the many over the one and runs to capture Mason. Franco kills Edgar, and Curtis finally grabs Mason, ordering everyone to stop. Young Franco lunges at Curtis, but Jonah emerges from hiding and impales him with a metal rod. After subduing old Franco, the group washes the blood off in the next car, which has running water. Tanya and Andrew tend to their wounds. Mason, bound in front, is hurt to make her talk. She only knows that the children have been taken to Wilford. It's Curtis's turn to threaten her, telling her he can shut off the water supply, but Mason laughs, explaining that the water comes from the front of the train as snow and ice. Curtis readies to kill her, but Mason persuades him to bring her along, promising safe passage. That night, the group decides to rest. Curtis and Gilliam stay up discussing their next step. How many have already died for this cause? Curtis offers to go alone, and Gilliam agrees after examining the scar on Curtis's arm. The next morning, Curtis departs with Andrew, Tanya, Nam, Gray, and Jonah, Mason still shackled in front. Their first stop is a greenhouse where fruits and vegetables are grown for the upper class. Nam gives Jonah some soil. She has never touched it, and the worms inside surprise her. The next car is a giant aquarium. Mason offers them sushi, but Curtis forces her to eat a protein block instead, delighting in her disgust when she learns what it contains. After the butcher's car, they enter a classroom filled with children shouting. Tanya and Andrew immediately look for their kids by checking their drawings, but the teacher says the children have been taken further down the train. She then plays propaganda on a screen, teaching the kids that Wilford is their merciful savior. The children love it and cheer for their leader. The teacher plays an instrument and sings a song telling the children they will freeze and die if the train ever stops. They pass a part of the landscape where 15 years earlier, 7 people tried to escape and now stand as frozen statues in the snow. Then, a man with a cart of New Year's boiled eggs arrives. Both the children and the rebels take eggs to eat. Gerald also appears to play violin. Tanya realizes how much Gerald has changed since getting this job. Curtis finds a capsule in an egg. It reads, "Blood." When the egg cart attendant reaches another car, both he and the teacher draw weapons from beneath the eggs and open fire. Everyone ducks for cover, but the teacher kills Andrew before Gray stabs her. Mason tries to shoot Curtis, but he kicks the gun away just as a live video appears on the classroom's television. The Eggman has slaughtered all the rebels, and now old Franco aims at Gilliam. Saddened, Curtis kills Mason in revenge. The group presses on through cars filled with upper-class passengers enjoying services, doctors, tailors, a beauty salon. In the dining car, Franco springs into action and notices that the rebellion car and the dining car are now side by side. He immediately opens fire. Curtis returns fire but misses all shots until they run out. As they reload, Nam spots a snowflake entering through a bullet hole, a clue. They fire again to no effect, so they move on. After passing a spa, they reach a sauna and hide in the cubicles before Franco and 2 guards catch up. Franco kills a passenger and then a guard. Gray leaps out to kill the other guard and stab Franco in the shoulder, beginning a brutal fight. Curtis moves in to shoot Franco, but Franco can't aim without risking hitting Gray. Franco knocks Gray unconscious. Curtis finally fires, but Franco counters and wounds Curtis's arm. Tanya tries to attack Franco but is thrown aside. Curtis engages Franco in hand-to-hand combat. After a long struggle, Franco knocks Curtis out. Then Franco tries to stab Curtis, but Gray tackles him. This time, Franco overpowers Gray and stabs him in the chest, killing him. When Franco opens another door, he finds Nam hiding behind a woman, triggering another fight. Nam shoves Franco and begins to strangle him. Jonah emerges and grabs the knife to kill him, but Nam insists she finish Franco. She lets go of the knife, which Curtis catches. He wakes up and stabs Franco in the side. Curtis rushes to Tanya, who asks to see Timmy's drawing one last time before dying. The group moves on and passes a car where a loud, decadent party is underway with alcohol. Nam and Jonah seize the chance to steal some pelts and booze. They then pass a computer car and, after crossing another bridge, finally reach the vault door marking Wilford's domain. Jonah faints from drinking too much. Curtis tells Nam to open the door. Nam demands more Chronal, which drives Curtis mad. He pounds on the door until Nam fights him to calm him down, then gives him the last cigarette on Earth. Curtis smokes it and shares memories of the early days on the train, when the poor had to eat the weak and even babies because they tasted better. Curtis himself killed a mother and nearly killed her baby, but Gilliam intervened and offered his own arm. Soon, everyone was doing the same. Curtis bears a scar from his first failed attempt. A few days later, guards returned with protein blocks. Nam confesses he has been hoarding Chronal because it's flammable. He made a bomb to blow the door open to the outside. For the past decade, every New Year's Day, Nam has looked outside and seen signs that the ice was melting, giving him hope that they could escape and survive. Suddenly, the door opens and Clud steps out to shoot Nam and seize his bomb. Then, Clud tells Curtis that Wilford has invited him to dinner. Curtis enters and finally meets Wilford, who explains that Curtis is the first person to traverse the entire length of the train. No one has ever reached the front before. Wilford lectures on ecological balance. Because natural selection would have taken too long, years ago he devised a plan and even faked revolutions with Gilliam that periodically reduced the population. Curtis should have lost more cars but got lucky. To restore balance, Wilford orders the Eggman to kill all the poor people still behind them, except 18, to celebrate the train's 18th anniversary. Screams and gunshots spill through the private phone Curtis notices beside Gilliam's logo. Meanwhile, Franco awakens in Wilford's sauna and simply pulls the knife from his chest. Jonah and Nam also wake, only to see one of Wilford's partygoers attack Nam. Nam blocks him, shoving the man toward the train mechanism to kill him. More enraged partygoers arrive to stop them. Nam holds the bridge control while urging Jonah to open the door back farther. Wilford brings Curtis alone to the locomotive for a moment of solitude, something Curtis has not felt since boarding. Overwhelmed, Curtis falls to his knees and cries as Wilford brings him the final capsule reading train. Wilford wants Curtis to take his place as leader, saying, "It is what Gilliam wanted all along." Outside, Franco fights through the party crowd as Jonah finally opens the rear door. Clud steps out to check, but Jonah kills her and grabs Clud's weapon, shooting at Franco until she runs out of bullets. Franco still lives, so Nam tells Jonah to fetch Clud's Chronal and Curtis's matches. Jonah runs inside and holds out her hand, but Curtis, under Wilford's influence, pushes her away. Desperate, she grabs a fork and lifts a floor tile, revealing Timmy working on the engine. Wilford explains they've run out of parts over the years, so today they use children as replacements. Furious, Curtis lunges at Wilford, punching him. Then, in agony, he thrusts his hand into the engine gears to halt them, pushing his matches into Jonah's hand. Jonah runs out. Andy emerges from a compartment and rushes to restart the engine for Timmy. In a second, Nam kills Franco. Jonah ignites the Chronol, and Curtis, despite the agony of his broken arm, tries once more to stop the engine so Timmy can escape. Then, the Chronol explodes, blowing the door open to the outside, but also triggering a massive avalanche that buries the train cars one by one. The train derails until its front end lodges in the snow and finally comes to a halt. Moments later, Timmy and Jonah awaken in the engine car amid flames and the bodies of all the others wearing stolen pelts. They emerge to face a polar bear and realize they will not freeze to death.
If you want interesting movie recaps, like, share, and subscribe to follow us for more movie recaps.